Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jewel. We are on, I think, part seven, I think, of our lap book series, lap book journal series. And today we are going to sew in these signatures into the main part of the book. So it will look like this. Now, I already sewed in a simple pamphlet stitch the folders that we made and the accordion fold out that we made. Actually, it goes like this. Boop. And then all the sides, as you can see. So I will do a final flip through on this when we're finished. So I did that, and you can see I sewed that right into the spine. But we aren't going to do that with the middle signatures because I don't want the thread showing on the outside of the main part of the book. And I've already put a metal embellishment here, so we're going to do it different. And then in the back, I sewed in our envelope that kind of does the same thing, the accordion style. And then our folder that we put together with the fold outs and pop-ups and whatever. The only thing I did different is with this folder is I came in and added this piece all the way around the back to reinforce this folder to make it stronger when it's sewn in. I left the strings because I'm contemplating adding beads to the bottom of this book. Okay, now we're ready to do the middle part, so let's fold the book out. And I have a piece, what did I do with it, of Craftex, here it is, that I have cut. And we are going to ink this, and this is what the 3 signatures are going to be sewed to. So they are going to sew into this, and then we're going to glue this piece in. So we're going to ink this first, so let me move this aside, and then this will be our template to put the holes. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put the holes in here because I'm going to glue this down. This will be what we glue it to. I'm thinking I'm making a template, and this is the template. So let's go ahead and move this aside. Let me get situated, pull some inks out. We'll ink this, and then I have my thread over here. We are going to be using this heavyweight linen crochet thread, and I have waxed. I went ahead and thread the needles. I have 3 needles here because we have 3 signatures. And I went ahead and waxed the thread with this wax. So all I do is I take a piece, I cut my thread 3 times the length of the signature, okay, or the length of the book, and then I just pull it through the wax. So it's real simple to do. You can buy waxed linen thread, or you can do it yourself, and I think it comes out a little bit cheaper. Let me get a glass of water here, and we will ink, and then we will sew. Okay, now I want the 3 colors that I have in the book. First thing we'll do is we will antique this a little bit with Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. Let me get my big brush. The beauty of this Craftex, it takes ink really well. This will show in between the spine, in between the signatures. This side is smooth. This is the side that I glue down. This is the side that has a little bit more of a fiber. And this is a fabric paper. You can't really tear it, but you can cut through it. Takes ink beautifully, like I said, and it distresses beautifully. It comes in all different colors. I've made journal covers out of this. I've embossed this and made fabulous journal covers with the embossed Craftex. So it is spelled Kraftex TEX, I believe. Or it could be one more, Craft Tex fabric paper. So here's some worn lipstick, and I'm thinking, I think I'm just gonna use ink. I'll use the same brush. I don't mind mixing my inks. Not a biggie for me. That's not enough pink. That's the worn lipstick. I'm gonna pull this other pink out. I have Festive Berries, and I have picked raspberries. Let me just look at picked raspberry. Ooh, nope, not picked raspberries. Too bright. Festive pink. Yeah, that's better. That gives us a little bit more pink. So see how beautifully this takes the ink, and it has a real nice feel to it. I just love it. Let me clean this off a little bit. That's a little bit of our blues that are throughout the book, and I am using these papers. I'm using the Stamperia Precious. Okay, I'm using the Alluring and the Enchantment papers, and the Music Ephemera, large Music Ephemera kit by Junk with Steph, because this is my May design team project that we are working on here. And it is a brand new type of book for me. I've never made a lap book. This is probably not really a lap book, but this is my version of a lap book, because if you haven't seen the first one, go back and see how I constructed this, and I actually did it out of paper and craft text, and I'm ending up with a nice heavyweight book. It's coming out lovely, so better than I could have imagined, actually. Okay, now we are ready to do our holes. So I have cut this piece here. I think I need to add a little bit more pink. There's not enough bright pink. I might need a little of that picked raspberry after all. This is a 2-inch spine, so I have, let me see what I cut here. This is 3.5 inches. So I just wanted to make sure I had enough. Let me pull it down. So I would have, you know, maybe 3/4 of an inch, and that's pretty much 3/4 of an inch on each side to glue that, because I'm thinking, but I might just have this as an open spine as opposed to just gluing on the sides here, as opposed to gluing it in the middle, but I'm not sure. I have to see how flat this will fold out. So not quite there yet in my brain. So let me move this aside, and we are going to put a tiny bit more. I think I will see if I can get any more color with the Festive Berries. If not, I'm gonna have to come in with the yeah, this is better. Yeah, a little bit more. Just want everything to blend nicely. If you've been watching any of my videos of this series, I talk about color and the importance of it to me. There's something about color, and I have this way of being able to take a look at a color. This is one God bless me with a gift of being, let me get, oh, baby white. Looking at a color, and then I can have that color in my brain, and I'll go and pick out something, like if I have a fabric here, and I need a complementary fabric, I can go without bringing it and know the color. It's very strange. So color is real important to me. Okay, let me get a sip, and we're gonna move on. Okay, now we've got 3 signatures, so I'm going to need, okay, this, let me mark off 2 inches in the middle here. So I wanna make sure, actually I'm just gonna bring my book over, because that's easier for me, because I'm not the best with math. So I'm going to mark I'm gonna put a couple lines here. So I'm eyeballing this to make sure, you know, that's how, the way I do things, that's the way I roll. That's going to be the end of the paper on each side. So I know when I come back, I am going to glue that right there. Now let me pull it down. This right here, and I should do this in the back. Actually, let me flip it over so I don't have to erase this. Okay. This is the spine. Pretty close, pretty close. Okay, let me put the ink thing away. So then I know, let me draw a line here. It should be pretty close. Down there and then down here. And this is just the way I'm doing this. I like this because there's an arrow, or there's a middle. This is, but you don't have to do it this way. I use the Tim Holtz because it's a centering ruler, so it works good. So this should be 2 inches. This is 2 inches. It's like a 1/16 inch less, and the middle of that would be 1 inch. Okay, so since it's a 1/16 of an inch less, I'm just going to do this so I get a nice. So that's where my center signature is going to go. Okay, so I'm going to just mark the middle of these 2 lines, and it's right about there. I'm going to do the same thing down here. There we go. And I'm going to draw a line straight down the middle. And I know that that's going to be my middle signature, is going to be on that line. Now I've got to find the other 2 signatures, and I want them between these 2. Okay, so it's easy when you do 3 signatures. So this should be 1 inch, this should be 1 inch, so 1/2 inch would be where we go. So I'm going to use this again because it's easier. Because it is off about a 1/16 of an inch, but really, it's not a big deal. Because we're just sewing it in, and you're not going to see these in the back of the book anyways, so. Alright, so that should be right. And these line up pretty good right here. Let me move it over. And then here. And now I can connect those lines. Everybody has their own way of doing this. This, through the years, is the way that's kind of works best for me. Okay, now I want to find my middle spot. And you know what I usually do to make it super easy? I just put a little crease right there. Okay, fold my template up. This is my template. And then I have my middle, I have my middle, and I have my middle. So I'm going to be sewing signature in there, signature in there. Now I want to do the same thing at the top, but I will show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come down 1 inch. That's what I usually like to do. And there's my, whoops, that's not it. That's the end of the, I'm not going to see this anyways. It's going to be in the back of the, okay, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. I'm going to put a little arrow up so I know this is the top of my book. Because even if they're off a little bit, that makes a difference. So I always put an arrow to know that I'm sewing. That's going to be the top when I poke my holes into my signatures. And 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to grab my phone book. I'm going to go ahead and poke holes through this. See, they are off a little bit. See, that's why it's important to make sure I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to draw a line. These are perfectly across from each other. I don't know why I'm doing it that way. I've got my phone book. You can see all the holes in the phone book from all the books I've made. Okay, so that goes through pretty good. So we're actually going to be sewing here, here, and here, and here, and here. Just making sure all my holes go through this. It's pretty heavy. Stuff has almost a leathery feel, and really, when you get the tan color, let me see if I have a piece of the tan color so I can show you. Yes. And you distress this. What a beautiful journal cover. Can you see the cracks in it and everything? It really is lovely stuff. If you guys want to comment about Craft Text, if you used it below this video, let me know what you think about it, because it's one of my favorite things to work with. Okay, so this is up. Okay. Okay, now I can, well, I still want to work like this. So, well, do I? Or do I? Yeah. I'm going to just draw a line like that. And this is the third signature. So this is the way I want my signatures. I decide I want this one here, this one here, and this one here. I always sew from back to front. I don't know why, but that's just the way I do it. So when I'm going to put this here, actually I gotta go all the way over. I'm going to draw a line all the way across, just like this. Okay. Sometimes if it's paper, I will fold it and it's easier for me that way. Then I'm going to lay it in the middle of my book like this. Line it up. This has to come up this way a little bit. I want to make sure it's even. I see. That looks pretty good. Maybe come up just a tad more. Okay, and I'm just going to mark with a pencil right there, and then I know that that's where I want my holes. I see this one real good. And then I usually fold my book like this, and I feel, or my signature, because I feel like it goes through easier that way. When you're sewing it, the needle, it's more even all the way through. If any of you know what I'm talking about, if you sewed in signatures before, you know it's very important. Make sure you always, if you got to mark the outside, that because I've sewn in signatures upside down as well. So let's go ahead and mark the second one, so we know that this one's going to go, whoops, here in the book. See, here. Whoa, that is going to be backwards. So this one's going to have to go here. So I guess this is going to be first. Duh, Julie. I was thinking maybe if it's back upside down, it's going, okay, well, this is the way we're going to do them. So this one's going to get sewed in first. Actually, I think I'll go ahead and sew it, and then we'll move on. Silly me. Okay. Now, I want to go from the back because I don't want the strings on the inside. So I'm going to go through the back, through, and we're starting in the middle hole. Oops. Not starting off very good, are we? Yep, there we go. Through the book. Now, to make sure you don't pull your thread all the way through, you can put a little clip on it, or I wish I had a smaller one. Do I have a smaller one? Or a paper clip there. Tie it to a paper clip, and that'll help to make sure you don't pull your paper all the way through. So there we go. So now we're gonna go back in through either the top or the bottom. We'll go in through the top here. Yep, I just want to make sure it was up. Pull it, and then we're going back through the middle. Try not to split your threads, because then you have to kind of take it apart and redo it. Because if it gets hung up in there, it won't go through. And through the top. Okay. All right, so that's first one in, and then I'll show you how I tie it off. So I want to make sure it's nice and tight. So let me check on the inside. Oh, I clip my signatures together. Do you see that? I have clips in them. I find that that works. See, now this, I gotta be out of frame for a minute, guys. This is like this, see? So make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'll take the needle out, and I usually tie in tie three knots. So we'll do one, and I'll cut these threads off. 2 and 3. 3. All right, and then I'll just cut these off. Okay, so there's one signature, and usually what I do here is, so it doesn't get too fumbly, when I'm sewing in the next signature, I'll take the clips off, and then I'll just clip the whole signature together like that. And then I have this area to work with. Okay, now we can do the next one. So this one is this right here, and I'm going to actually just kind of try to fold this right on that line and do it right from the book, since I've already done that. Now let me make sure. Nope, that's the top. Okay, because I've done that more than once. So we want to line these up. So I'm kind of just putting this in right in here as a template, so I don't have to draw the lines. And I think that's pretty good. I know that this is the middle. And this, whoops. This doesn't feel like it's in there. I'll just draw the line first, or draw the, in the hole first, and then I'll mark it. Yep. This one is off, so it's right here. And this one is right here. And the middle one is right there. Okay, so let's hope, this is a really thick one. It's a super chunky. I try to have even number of pages, but I didn't do it with this journal. Because I have a bag in this one, I think. Okay, this is the, yeah. Okay, here, let's sew this one in. So I'm going through, this will be number 2. I'm going through the back in the middle. And in the middle here. Okay. I'll go through the top here. Sometimes these thicker ones are a little bit harder, but this is so far not too bad. I want to get all 3 of these done so that you can see how I glue this in. And those of you that have done this 1,001 times and, you know, this isn't for you. It's kind of a boring thing to watch. Whoops, see? There we go. So you can see here, see I split the thread, you can see right there. Sometimes if you just barely nick it, you can cut it. See, I split right down the middle. So I've got to back out of this. So I'm going to take my needle off. I'm going to take that out. Actually, I think I'll be okay. Did I get through it? Yeah. So I'll put my needle back on here. And then we can continue on. Because that's the... Sometimes it's not that easy. You have to kind of almost undo the book. Oh, now my thread is split. I kind of lost the wax off it. So now you get to watch me thread the needle. Okay. So that's what I mean by splitting the thread. That's something that you don't want to do. But it's easy to do. I mean, all right. Pull these tight. Let me make sure. I check the other side. Are they tight? They're tight. I go in under the one. And then there we go. And I'll tie it off 3 times. 2 and 3. Okay, now I can release these. And I'm just going to take this one off, and I'm going to attach these 2 books together with a big one. These 2 signatures, I should say. So then it's easier to work that way. And I think I'm trying to make, what's the top and what's the bottom here? Let me see. I think this is, yeah, this way. This is the bottom. See how easy that is? You could, I mean, you can mess up real quick. All right, now we're ready to move on with our 3rd journal. Okay, our 3rd signature rather. I think I'll do the same thing with this I did with the other one, which is, this is not an ideal way, guys. Let me see if I have a template on the, a template so you can see what they, here. This is a template where you make a template. And this was the template I used for the last one. And it's much easier because you can just put it in there. So this is a little bit more complex in the fact that I should have put the holes in all three before I, right there. Okay, so there's that one, I can see. Hole 1, hole 2, and hole 3. I'm way off. 1, 2, 3. Let me just check that. Yeah, 2 and 3. Okay, now I can poke my holes. You can go back. I've done sewed simple signatures in if you're used to doing just a simple, or if you just want to, if you're a beginner and you want to do it. This is not a beginner project, so I will tell you right now, you might be enjoying watching this, but I would not tackle this as your first journal because it's not a beginner project. You're gonna get some tips and stuff. Whoops, wrong way, going in through the back. Some tips and stuff in here, you know, ways to do enclosures and stuff, but I would not tackle, let me move this, we don't need that, this journal if you are new to journal making, unless you're super gifted, because it's certainly, let me make sure, not the easiest. With the 3 spines and da 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 da. So I would put this more in the, maybe the moderate to advanced category. But some people, you know, they pick things up pretty fast. I know I wouldn't have been done well with this, my first journal, that's for sure. This one's been a little bit more on the difficult side. Best thing to start with is altered books. So that's what I started with, altered books, because that is, it's much easier. Okay, so we're going to tie this off, and we're almost ready to, oh, I knew it. I broke the thread. Here, do I have enough? Yeah, I have enough. I can tie it off up here. That happens too, if you pull too hard. Okay, let me tie another one. Otherwise, we would have had to do that all over. I'm glad I had some extra thread. This signature might be a little looser because I have a little bit of play there. All right. Now we can undo this. Yeah, it's still pretty tight. All right, now we're ready to put this in the book. I'm gonna cut a couple of these strings. I haven't decided whether to leave the strings. Well, I'm gonna cut a few off. Or, because these are gonna get in the way of gluing this in, so let me. Or cut them all off. All right, let me move all of these back. Pull our book back over. Let me look how many minutes. I'm at 34, so we should be able to get this glued in pretty good. Let me take a clip and clip up this one side and kind of clip this side over here as well so it does not get in the way of us gluing. All right. Now, I think this is going to fall just fine with gluing the whole thing in, and that's going to be the easiest way to do it, so that's what we're going to do. So when I do this, I want plenty of glue, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue here. And I'm not going to glue over. I'm actually going to just glue the book and then put this on. I'm not gluing over the hinge. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to glue right to where that mark was that we marked, the top and the bottom. And then sometimes I have to come in at the side. And this, you really want a generous amount. It's because you're not sewing these in. You're completely just gluing them in. A generous amount of glue. And if the glue seeps out a little bit, that's okay. I usually put trim over it. I'd rather have more glue. I'm going to go this way too. And not have our book fall apart. We don't want our book to fall apart. And I'm going to get up here. I'm going to stand up to do this. And I'm lining up those marks on each side. Okay, now I'm going to press down the sides first. Go right up to my book line there, my signature line. Same thing on this side. Take your time with this. Takes a minute for the glue to get in there, and then I'm going to take a bone folder and I'm going to go in between each signature. Okay, I have a bone folder here. I'm going to let one signature fall. It's two signatures. It's in between my signatures here. There we go. And I'm simply going to just run my bone folder down. Actually, I can just use my finger here. And the other one. Front, back, kind of make sure you get like the ends. You know, you want these books to last and pass down generations, and this is the reason why I call them heirloom journals. I don't just put them together where you can just write in them and then toss them aside when they're full. I spent a lot of time on my journals, and the price point's a little higher, and there's a reason for that, because I use the best papers and so on and so forth. So it is reflected there. That looks pretty darn good. Okay, let's take this clip off and this clip off. Let's see how this book is going to look. And it's going to be a biggie. Fold it in. Fold it in. There's our book. These I've got to put down. Those are the coin envelope tops. So, whoops, I think what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to we're going to come in tomorrow, or our next thing, and I'm going to add Velcro to all these. We are going to start decorating the pages in this monster. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series and getting some knowledge and some inspiration. And if you watch this all the way through, that'd be spectacular. Mention, write in a comment something, and give me a thumbs up and tell somebody else about this channel. Okay, guys, have a blessed day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.